Yep, you're probably saying, little late on that Bluetooth 5.0 review, isn't it? Yeah, I guess it is. But, I see these web pages and these other videos, people talking about Bluetooth 5.0, and I, I, I hear things and I see things and I read things, whatever. And it really makes me shake my head like, people trying to, there's this one guy, he likes to explain stuff. I'm gonna explain this to you. And, there was this one particular, in this other video I watched, this person was talking about the best, or five best, or the five top, something like that, Bluetooth 5.0 devices. And they made this claim about it having 3 megabytes of speed. I thought, wow, 3 megabytes. Okay, that's great. I wonder where they got that one from. I think I know. I'm not positive, but I'm going to give this a shot. So back in the day, as far as bits and bytes are concerned, 4 bits equaled 1 nibble, 2 nibbles equaled 1 byte, 8 bits equals 1 byte, and 2 bytes equaled a word. And then there were some other ones with words equaling double words and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, a lot of that's just kind of fallen by the wayside. And typically nowadays we just kind of go with 8 bits equal 1 byte. And so, as you can see here with this bits, I have denoted with a lowercase b. Bytes I have denoted with an uppercase b. So capital B for byte, lowercase b for bits. Which reminds me of got into it with actually we were just discussing my DSL internet speed years ago, and the rep or salesperson, whatever they were telling me how I was getting 300 kilobytes a second. Now, I did a speed test prior to this, and I was getting something like 40 kilobytes a second. So I thought, I said, can you, are you reading that from something? I said, yeah. And I said, can you read it to me for character? And they said, sure. And they said, 3, 0, 0, K, B, S. And I said, now, is that a lowercase b or is that an uppercase b? What's a lowercase b? So lowercase b, that's bits. I'm really getting 300 kilobits per second, and if we divide that by 8 for bits per byte, we're looking at somewhere closer to 40 kilobytes per second. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of how that kind of worked out. So anyway, back to this. So anyway, there was this person. They're going to explain 5.0, and they're saying, oh, it's twice as fast. And yeah, I can see that here. It's definitely twice as fast, and it's got 4 times the speed. Oh yeah, 4 times the speed. Sure, it's connects to multiple devices. Oh hey, that's awesome. I love multiple devices. And then it's got 8 times the data. I thought 8 times the data. Where are they getting that from? Well, data rate. So if we look at 1 Mbps, that's 1 megabit per second, and 1 megabit, that's the data, and the per second, that's the rate it takes to move that data. So it moves that data in 1 second, that whole 1 megabit. And now Bluetooth 5.0, it's 2 megabits is what that's like the theoretical, it's a theoretical amount. And then anyway, and then the 4.0 of 1 megabit. So if we take the 2 megabits and we divide by 1, our megabits cancel out, and we're left with 2, or 2 times the the data rate. Not 8. I mean, how the heck did they get 8? Must be that new math or something they're teaching kids these days. I don't know. But anyway, 8 times the data rate. Right. All right. So anyway, like I said, this is a theoretical rate for 4.0, and of course 5.0 is supposed to be twice fast. So they're going to throw a 2 in there, right? Twice as much. But in reality, what we're looking at is about 800 kilobits per second. And of course, if we divide that by the 8 bits to equal 1 byte, it works out about 100 kilobytes per second. But anyway, back to the 800 kilobits, pardon me. If we took 800 and we multiply that times 2, we get like 1600 kilobits, right? Well, we go over to the chart here, and this is the Bluetooth. These are the specifications. Anybody can download these, the PDF. But yeah, 1600 is 1400 is a little bit less than 1600, I think, but it's still pretty close to twice. And by the way, the LE up here stands for low energy. This is when it's in low energy mode. And so yeah, it's still pretty close to twice, I guess, but it's really not up to par. Now, as far as the 4 times the range, yeah, so the 5.0 compared to the 4.0 has 4 times the range is what they're stating. But the problem here is that it's at 100 kilobits per second. We just lost 14 times basically our data rate, 100 kilobits per second. So what are they doing there? I'm not exactly 100% positive. My guess is what they're doing is they're dropping down the data rate to save power. And then they're taking that power and they're pumping it back into the signal so they can broadcast this thing at 4 times the range. And then there's a lot of error checking that goes on in here, so we probably might be losing some data, due to all the extra error checking they're doing because you're getting further away, so you want to make sure you still have a crisp, clean signal and you're still talking to the same device, back and forth. So, maybe that's where some of that's going, taking place. But then one of the other things you look at the 5.0, when it's just in normal mode, it actually has a shorter range than 4.0. Wow. Okay, maybe they're conserving some power there so they can pump that back into the data. I don't know. All right, so something else I thought was kind of interesting when I went back and looked at the some of the specs for the 4.0. Talks about an LE Piconet, and a Piconet's just kind of like it's a miniature router in a sense. And so the Piconet channel can be shared by any number of low energy devices, limited only by the resources available on the Piconet master device. Only one device is the Piconet master, all other being the Piconet slave. But then we get down to here, it says this means that there is no theoretical limit to the number of Bluetooth devices that share a channel with the master. At present, low energy device is only permitted to belong to one Piconet at a time. So they actually had the ability to have this multiple device thing back then, but they didn't do it. Why? Well, I don't know, maybe so they can, roll it out in 5.0 and say, hey, it does this now, and sell more stuff. I don't know. I mean, there are companies that do that. Like there was this medical company I was working for years ago, and they wanted me to design this device for them, and I thought, okay, great. So I, looked at the specs and, designed everything to, the way I thought they wanted it. And I made it nice and small. And battery powered, if you carry it with you. If you're a woman, I guess you could stick it in your purse or whatever. And they didn't really cover that aspect with me, so I designed it that way. And then when I talked to marketing about it, and they took a look at it, they said they were really impressed with it. They liked it, but they said, this is great and everything, but what we're really looking for is something that'll, sit on the physician's desk and, and then they can use it with the patient and, discuss things with them and blah, 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 blah. And then later on, we'll come out with this. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So anyway, just a way for them to make, more money, I guess. I don't know. But so I had to go back and make a bigger box, and I took all my little stuff and stuck it in the bigger box. Maybe I should have put like a 5-pound weight in there, so they feel like they're really getting something for their money. I don't know. But anyway, that's my review on Bluetooth 5.0. Oh yeah, I kind of missed this. The one of the things with 5.0, 4.0 is the backwards compatibility. They put extra cores basically on the chips so that they can match up with the previous models. That backwards compatibility thing. But when you look at these things, by the way, EDR is enhanced data rate, so that it was basically it would go faster than Bluetooth 1.0. But it had a theoretical speed of 3 megabits per second when it was actually somewhere around 2.1 megabits per second, which is kind of interesting though, because that kind of outperformed 4.0, and it still slightly outperforms 5.0. But the problem is that the 4.0 and the 5.0 are low energy, and this is consuming more power. And the idea behind the low energy is so that the smaller devices, your smartwatches, your headphones, stuff like they're not consuming as much power, and it preserves battery life and blah blah blah. Anyway, but when we look at 3.0. Provided you were using another 3.0 device that supported the 24 megabits per second, I mean, that's a huge difference. Insane. But yeah. But anyway, a couple other things. As far as the multiple devices with 5.0, even though 4.0 had the capability to do it, I'm not sure if it was built into the firmware itself. It's kind of hard to say, but some people they try connecting up the multiple devices. Well, if their device is a 2.0, a 3.0, and let's say I'm not sure about the 4.0. I don't know everything here, but if they're trying to connect multiple devices with one of these older specifications, it's not going to work. It doesn't support the they don't have that low energy capability. So that's it's not going to work there. And if they're trying to get the extra range as well, once again, these are not low energy devices. They're not going to support that 4 times range. Along with the 4.0, it probably wouldn't either, being that it only has 1 time. So yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. Hey, the specifications are out there on the internet. You can download them yourself. I appreciate you listening to me babble, and thanks. Have a great day.